Hello, welcome back. Let's continue to talk about descriptions of actions in the past, and this is the last activity that we have in this section about this topic, and we are going to use it to talk about trips. So here are the instructions for you. It says, describe a fun trip that you have made. Describe a fun trip, not one trip that you had to go to another city for a doctor's appointment or something that you did not enjoy. No, think about something that was enjoyable for you, something in which you had a good time, a fun trip. All right. If you don't remember one, make up one. You can invent, that's not the word, but you can make up a story so that you can complete the assignment. But if it is a trip that was a one-day trip, for example, that you took to a river, to a lake, even to a mall somewhere in your city, it is fine. But the idea was to talk about a long trip, but in any case, try to use what you have learned to describe a fun trip in general. All right, let's continue. Try to include details about how you got there. So if you traveled, if you walked, if you flew on an airplane, etc. Things that you did, that's the details of your presentation, let's say. How you felt, so in your heart, how you felt, if you were happy, if you were supposedly it's a fun trip, so it was exciting, etc. How it compares to other trips, so using comparisons or superlatives, you can say this was faster, better, etc. etc. You can use the past simple and the past perfect. Past simple to talk about actions that occurred and started and ended in the past at that moment, and the past perfect probably to compare to things that you had done before, So that would be very useful in that case. So please, at this moment, pause your video, complete the assignment, and I'll see you in a moment. All right, I hope that you pause the video, that you have a paragraph description of a fun trip, and what I'm going to do now is I am going to show you one sample description that a girl wrote, and we're going to see what she experienced on that trip. We say on a trip, not in a trip. So she says, last summer I went to the beach with my family. Oh, nice. It was a great experience. That's the context. We traveled there by plane, so that's how she got there, and stayed at a very nice hotel. Good. By the time we arrived, so at the moment when we arrived, we had already planned our entire schedule. So they arrived, and before then, they had already planned the schedule. So that's why she's using the past perfect there. Now, let's see what they did. We visited the city, that's past simple, swam at the beach, past simple, and went to the iconic places. Ooh, that's a nice word, iconic places. It means very famous places. I like that word, iconic places. Good job. I loved seeing a real castle. Oh, that could be one of the iconic places. Use that word in your description. I love that, iconic places. I loved seeing a real castle. It looks like near the beach there was a castle. Why? Because sometimes as a protection for the city, they build a castle from which they can watch ships that were coming into the city, and that could become like a fortress for certain cities. So I know we have, I've seen a castle in the past, and they are very, they look very strong and iconic as well. I had never been so happy in my life. Oh, that is so nice. So that's comparing this trip with actions in the past. I really enjoyed this trip. That's how she felt. We had visited other places before. Oh, there's a comparison here. But this city was by far the most beautiful. Oh, that's not a comparative, it's a superlative. This city was by far. That's an intensifier. By far, because she could have said was the most beautiful, but it's by far. Very good job. I hope that you are using and recycling the content that you have learned in level 4. I don't know if you remember that or still, but that is a very good combination of skills that you can use to enrich your language. By far the most beautiful I have ever seen. So compared to all of them, this was the most beautiful city. I wish I could go back there soon. I wish I could go back there soon. That is a nice conclusion as well. All right, that made me happy to hear this description. So I don't know about you, but I hope you had a great trip and that you had a great description of your trip. I am going to pause my video, listen to her pronunciation. Remember to practice your pronunciation as you hear her. As soon as she's speaking, you start speaking after her, even if you have to rewind the video to do that, to try that, because that helps you with your pronunciation. All right, listen to her pronunciation now.
Last summer, I went to the beach with my family. It was a great experience. We traveled there by plane and stayed at a very nice hotel. By the time we arrived, we had already planned our entire schedule. We visited the city, swam at the beach, and went to the iconic places. I loved seeing a real castle. I had never been so happy in my life. I really enjoyed this trip. We had visited other places before, but this city was by far the most beautiful I have ever seen. I wish I could go back there soon.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for having been with me in this section in which we talked about the past. And you know what? In our next section, we are going to talk about hypothetical situations, things that could have happened, that would happen if certain conditions were met. I'll explain all that to you on the next video. See you there.